Now, I say the psychology of filmmaking because it is easy to think that filmmaking is just turning on a camera, turning on lights, capturing shots, sequentially arranging those shots, and releasing it out in the market. And you would easily think that, especially if you are in an environment where films are done or films are made with carelessness, right? If you're in an environment where films are made the way they are supposed to be made, you would understand better the psychology of filmmaking. But in an environment where films are just done with reckless abandon, anybody just does anything they want to do, and so long as they have a camera, they've got mics and they've got lights, whatever they put out, people would watch. When you're in an environment like that, it becomes hard for you to see the psychology of filmmaking. But you must understand as a filmmaker that you are both an artist and a scientist at the same time. You're an artist because of the form of filmmaking. The form of filmmaking is art. It's creative art. It allows you a medium of expression, not just in ideas, but in creativity, so that with filmmaking, you can express your creativity at its topmost peak. That's the artistic side of filmmaking. But there's also the psychological part of it, because filmmaking relates with the human mind. It interacts with the human mind. It interacts with perception. It interacts with how the mind views. As a matter of fact, it's so much so that I usually say that films are a society's mirror. If you want to know what a society looks like, check its films. That's the reason why you can easily understand a whole lot of things about the American system and how America runs just by watching their films, just by seeing their films. You can tell a lot about the Chinese people just by seeing their films. First, you can tell how much they love colors, yes, right? Just by seeing their films. You can tell they don't joke with colors. You see different shades of purple, different shades of pink, and you see how they very well match those colors. There's no color riot. They could have multiple colors in a place and they are all matching. So you can tell a lot about the people from their films. You can tell a lot about the Indian people from their films. Yeah. One of the key things you notice about the Indian people from their films is exaggeration. There are people that love an exaggerated form of expression. Now, you may call it a lie. But that's just a form of art. And you can even see it even in their worship, in their religion. Their piety is somewhat, in quotes, if you're not from there, is somewhat exaggerated. So you see the reverence they give to certain animals. If you're not from there, you exaggerate it. But when they sit you down and they explain to you, then you begin to come to terms with, okay, oh, the cow is worshipped like this because it is believed to be this, and then you begin to see reasons with them. But from a distance, you think it's exaggerated. So films can, in certain ways, create perception. Right? There is a negative side of it, which is maybe like creating a stereotype of a people. But the positive part of it is every society can use films to create a perception or create the kind of perception they want to be seen or known for with ease. And that's one of the things that Hollywood has done a lot. Hollywood has, with time, used films to create a perception of different cultures and different ethnicities such that it becomes hard for you to take that out of your head. And that's the scientific part of filmmaking. Hollywood has done it so well that if you see an Arabian, the first thing that comes to your mind is terrorists. Isn't it? If you see somebody from Arabia, how far now? If you see somebody from Arabia, the first thing that comes to your mind is what? Terrorist. Terrorism. Somebody bearded up with turban and whatnot. You are on a flight and the person walks in carrying, crossing a bag, a black bag, and he's sitting beside you. Till you land, your mind will not rest. Worst off for you is if the person brings out a tesbih and begins to count and is praying. That person sitting beside you might be probably the sweetest human being on the face of the earth. But there's a perception that Hollywood has built around those people. Why did it succeed? The reason it succeeded is because whilst Hollywood was busy pushing that perception, they were not pushing their own perception. It's as simple as that. When you see a Mexican, drugs, cartel. Do they have a lot of drug people in Mexico? Oh yes, of course they do. But just like they do also in America. Are there no Americans who are drug lords? So films have a way of creating perception. So there is a science to it. If you only know the art form and you don't understand the science part of filmmaking, you would never be able to completely drive your story. That's why I call it the psychology of filmmaking. The psychology of filmmaking will help you, understanding the psychology of filmmaking will help you decide your color temperature. It will help you decide the color theme of your entire film. It will help you decide your camera shot types, your camera angles, your choice of soundtrack. It will define nearly everything about your film. Why do you think that in Hollywood, for example, if a film is set in, let's say, 1801. If a film is released today and the film is set in 1801, another film is released today and the film is set in 2000, and another film is released today set in 2025. The two films, even if they are shot on the same camera, let's say they are both shot on IMAX, which is a cinema camera. If they are both shot on IMAX, the both of them will not look the same. The one from 18-something will have a different grade, a different look and feel from the one that is set in 2025. Why? Because psychologically, if you make a film set in the 1800s, and the film is not looking anything, both in color, in image quality and whatnot, like the 1800s, it will be hard for somebody to be able to actually accept that it is set in the 1800s. It's one of the things that we still struggle with back here in Nigeria. So we have films, we make films that are set in the 18th century or 19th century. Let's say 19th century Oyo or 18th century Oyo. 18th century. Not even 20th century. We are in 21st now, right? 18th century Oyo, and the colors, the grading is looking like it's present day. It's because we've not fully understood that every single element in filmmaking is important to the story. The actors are not the only storytellers in the film. We give preeminence to the actors, but the actors are not the only storytellers in the film. Every single individual on a film set is a fundamental part of the storytelling. The makeup artist is as crucial to the story as the cinematographer. And then you have the cinematographer. You have the cinematographer who is also telling the story. It's not just about turning on the camera. You have the gaffer, who is also a storyteller. The gaffer is a storyteller. The gaffer is in charge of light. Every scene is lit in a way that interprets what is happening in the scene. You don't just turn on light. The actors are part of the storytelling. So if you have a particular department that is not good in storytelling on your set and they are just good in the artistic part of it, you have a problem. Even the sound recordist on a film set is a fundamental part of telling the story. And that's the reason why on a professional set, there is not a single person on a professional set who has not read the script over and over. Not one. On a professional set, down to the sound recordist, would have read the script over and over and over again. Every single person would have read the script several times over. Why? Because they understand that they are all a part of telling the story. Not the one that you come on set and the makeup artist has not read scene 1, has not read scene 2. Just feels like, oh, what are we even going? Somebody has to now describe the scene to the person, to the makeup artist, and then the makeup artist will now be thinking, okay, this is what they are doing in this scene. Okay, let me just do this. No. The makeup artist gets the script, reads through the script, outlines the makeup necessary for every single scene that will best interpret that scene. So there's a psychology to filmmaking. On the side of the cinematographer, there's a psychology to filmmaking. On the side of the cameraman, there's psychology to filmmaking. Different shot types mean different things. Different shot angles mean different things. So, let's say, for example, if you use a low angle shot, I've thought Blue Media and Josiah, you should know this. Oh, light is gone. If you use a low angle shot, what does it mean? That is, I said, what does it mean?
Someone that is dominant and someone that the other person is like. To see, we watching it to see the other person as the dominant person.
Okay.
To show a symbol of power.
Okay, you want to say something?
I want to say dominance.
Okay, now, good. A low angle shot shows the subject in focus to be in a position of authority and dominance. And why? Why is it like that? When you're seeing a film, the camera is actually, in a way, your eye. Do you understand? The camera is somehow your eye. Let's leave POV first. But the camera is used to capture, presupposing that this is your eye. That is why, if two people are talking and they are whispering and gossiping, and a fast shot is taken, even if what they are saying is being heard faintly, because they are trying to gossip in a way that they don't want people to hear, if you use a fast shot, a wide shot of just two of them in a distance, and they're whispering to each other, the person watching feels the distance and also feels the fact that they are trying to say something that they don't want him to hear. it sends that message to the brain of the person that's watching. As opposed to two people whispering and the camera is close, maybe on a close-up shot. It shows something else. That these people are whispering, but you're eavesdropping to try to get what they are saying. Same scene, two different shots, interpreting two different things. So, in the same vein, a low-angle shot shows you, because you're watching through the eyes of the camera as an audience. Since you're watching through the eyes of the camera, it shows you because the camera is positioned downwards, below the eye line of the subject, tilting upwards. Right? Now, because of that position, the subject will be looking down at the camera or looking down towards the camera. It might not be looking directly at the camera, but the person's head will be downwards towards the camera or maybe looking straight or whatnot, but the camera is beneath the person. It puts the person in a position of dominance over the camera, which interprets to the person being in a position of dominance over the audience. So you begin to feel the emotion of the person in the scene who is being dominated. You feel that emotion better. You feel the overwhelming aura and presence of the character, of the subject that's looking down at the other person. That's the psychology of filmmaking. So if you want to show a subject to be dominant, what do you use? You use a low-angle shot. It's your best bet. So if you're shooting a scene where your subject, maybe, let's say a dialogue scene, and dialogue scenes are captured with over-the-shoulder shot most of the times, one shoulder showing and then focused on the other subject and whatnot, and it's an eye-level shot, right? It's an eye-level shot over the shoulder. Now let's see that it's a conversation, and they're just talking and talking and talking, and the tone of the conversation is about to change, where one person is about to make a boast to the other person that will make the other person scared. Let's say this person stands up. Instead of standing up with the person with the camera, getting up with the person and whatnot and going up, instead, let's say the camera is like this, over the shoulder of the other person, and this other person is standing up. Instead of standing up with the person, to show the change in the tone of the conversation, the other person does not have to raise his voice. To show the change, all you have to do is begin to tilt the camera with the person as he's standing until it gets into that low angle position and the person is up. You have psychologically changed the levels between the two people. You've changed it. Psychologically, you've shown that this one is now the boss of this scene. And if this other person also is, depending on your script, is a stubborn person, and he also wants to show this person that this your threat don't mean anything. Let's say the person also decides to stand up and tell this other person, call off the bluff of the other person. When this person is standing up, what you do is, a psychological way to shoot it would be to move the camera with his standing up. Let the camera stand up with him and level up with the other person. So the person is standing, you're going up with the person, and then you level up. Back to the shoulder shot again, eye level shot, and then they are equal. Psychology of filmmaking. So, what that means is, you don't just capture shots for the mere fact that you've not captured it. So you're not saying, oh, we've not captured the low angle in this film since we started, when there's no need. we've not captured any extreme close-up. And they taught us shot types. Extreme close-up is among. We've captured all the other shot types, we've not captured the extreme close-up. Camera, come. ECU. You want to show that, you're not going to capture extreme close-up. For what does not require an extreme close-up at all. So you go on a set and you hear the director say, have we captured close-up? They say, no. Oh, yeah, let's capture one close-up. Why are you capturing close-up? Does not know. Is it important to have a close-up in that scene? Doesn't know. So you can see that some Hollywood films, you'll see an entire scene begins and ends with an extreme wide shot. Sometimes even in just one angle. The camera is just one place. An entire scene. Let's say a guy drops and he's supposed to meet up with someone and they're supposed to talk and it's supposed to be a private conversation or whatnot. And then the camera just captures maybe the guy parking the car and then stays there and the guy walks up to whoever he wants to talk to. And the camera remains there until they are done talking. Then the guy walks back to his car and he zooms up. One shot. Why? Because they realize that that's the best shot that interprets the scene. So if a low angle shot is a shot that shows dominance, what is a high angle shot? It's the opposite of the low angle. Because this scenario I just used now to illustrate. If you use a high angle from the shoulder of the other person, it will show this other person that's seated down, it will show him to be lesser. So the low angle shot shows despair. It shows your character to be in a low place, not in an advantaged position. Because it shows the other person looking down on them from the shoulder most of the time. So the high angle is captured with the camera above the subject's eye line, particularly the shoulder most of the times, and then tilted downwards. Not facing completely down, tilt. Because when you now face it completely down, you've changed the shot type. So there is a psychology of filmmaking. And this psychology of filmmaking even goes as far as colors. What is the tone? Let's say, for example, now, let's use Game of Thrones. If you watch Game of Thrones, the colors change based on, not the scene, the color tone of Game of Thrones changes based on the season. Go and rewatch it. In summer, it's warm. Then watch it when winter came. Winter is coming, winter is coming, winter is coming. Now watch the progress. In summer, it's very warm. It's a warm color tone and whatnot. Then when winter came, it changed completely. It became bluish. White, that whitish blue tint. That is deliberate. It's not accidental. It didn't just happen. It's not just color grading, no. They did not use the same white balance. It's not color grading. They did not use the same light color temperature and whatnot. It's not color grading. Even the colors that were chosen for the set design and whatnot would be different. Why? The Psychology. You can't be saying it's winter and everywhere is warm. The color temperature is warm. You can't say it's winter. Now, people who are unintelligent might not be able to tell. But here's the thing with the psychology of filmmaking, right? It works with the subconscious mind, not the conscious mind. So it is working with your mind unconsciously in such a way that you're not paying attention to a particular thing, but that thing is a part of your entire relationship with what you are viewing. So you're not really paying attention to the change in the color tone as you're watching Game of Thrones. But the change to that winter feel already just makes you also feel that it's winter. Winter is here. You are in hot sun, under hot sun in Gwagwalada somewhere. But you are shouting, winter is coming. Winter is here. Why? The psychology of filmmaking. And the best way to master this psychology of filmmaking is very simple. And it's going to be a personal dealing for you, because nobody can fully teach you. That's the fact. There's only so much someone can teach you, right? But nobody can fully teach you. How you're going to master it is by being deliberate. Let me tell you, see, I'm a patriot too. I'm very patriotic. So anything that has to do with my country, I don't joke with it. But if you are a filmmaker, reduce your consumption of Nigerian films. Watch it. They are interesting ones. There are a lot of, especially these new ones that are coming up and whatnot. Watch it every once in a while. But reduce it. The reason you're reducing it is not because you're looking down what they are doing. It's because you're trying to open your mind. Because what you focus your attention on, you invariably become. You should see films that pay attention to these little details, so that the reason is, what I'm doing now is I'm opening your mind. That's just what I'm doing. I'm opening the gateways of your mind. Some of you, when you first came in, there are a couple of things you did not actually, your mind will never go to if you are seeing a film. But now, the same if you are watching film, you just be saying, this was this, right? That's just what I'm doing. That's why I say the rest of it is going to be left to you. See things that will open your mind. See how colors change when it's time for horror. See how cinematographers use color to convey emotions in a film. Why do you think Joker has a greenish feel? When you watch Joker, the grading and whatnot has this greenish tint. Why? Because of the blend of comedy and horror. Joker is horror in some way. It's comedic in other ways. There are certain hidden tales in colors in films. When the color turns red, what does it mean? When the color turns blue, what does it mean? These are things you see in top Hollywood movies because they are deliberate. That's why I say, careful what you watch. One of you gave me your earpiece sometime last week to preview something. As I was previewing, I was hearing shout up and down in my ear. Hey, don't come. I say, waiting there happen. Person was busy watching YouTube film, Nigerian film. Right. Now, that is good. frankly, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, for entertainment, I still go sometimes to YouTube to watch old Nollywood films. Not these, their current, not like Achalugo. I don't know what kind of simp that Odogu is. Right? Not that Achalugo. Do you understand? I'm talking the Aki and Popo days. Those films that it's as if it's Panasonic Handycam they used to shoot them. Isakaba, Egg of Life, Igodo, Aki Naokwa, Aki and Popo, Spanner. Baby Police, Egg of Life, or Sophia in London. I still go to watch all of that for entertainment. Even though I know that there's literally nothing I can learn cinematically from any of those films, right? But I can still, one of the things that get me when I watch those films is how much story still trumps every other element of filmmaking.
Really good storyline.
That's what gets me there. How much story and the ingenuity and creativity of an actor can trump every other thing. We're all here when one film went viral one time. What's that film? It went viral on social media. Polish Shot. No! Kill a Monkey is a high budget film now. That film was even more popular than To Kill a Monkey.
This is their series, what they call it?
Huh? No, it's a series.
The YouTube series, right?
Was it YouTube? It was even everywhere on Facebook and whatnot. These cult boys.
Yeah. I think the name is called. This.
They were cult. Yes, they were cultists and they were very small boys, and then some. It was about cultism and whatnot. It went crazy viral. Why? People could relate to the story. So sometimes I still go to Nollywood rather. I still go online to see some of those films, just for that. But if you are a creative and you are a filmmaker in Nigeria, I'll advise you, spend more time seeing Hollywood films. Not for story. Not for story particularly. For two things. Because as far as story is concerned, I'm never going to change my mind on this. Africa has better stories. We have just not started telling them just yet. We have better stories. There's no story they have that we don't have our own variation of the story. They have Thor. We have Shango. We have Amadioha. Thor is what? God of thunder. Who is Shango? Who is Amadioha? When they say Amadioha strike you, what are they telling you? It's thunder strike you. So they have Thor, we have Shango. We even have two there. We have Shango for Yoruba people. We have Amadioha for Igbo people. Imagine if two of them now combine and do one film. But they have shown us Thor. We haven't shown them Shango. And if we even try to show them Shango, Shango might be here, striking thunder. The thunder will be coming from his back. Because our VFX is not yet there. We're getting there. Right? So, I'm saying you should watch Hollywood because of the intricacies of their storytelling techniques. You're watching for the techniques. You're watching to learn. When you see a film as a filmmaker, don't see it to be entertained. Let every other person in the room be entertained. When you go to a cinema to see a film as a filmmaker, let every other person there be entertained. Be the only person that is not entertained. Not because the film is not entertaining, but because you went for a different purpose. And what is that purpose? To learn. Pay attention to the choice of shots. Pay attention to when they use an extreme close-up. Why did they use it? And what does it tell? You have to pay attention to all of these intricate details. Because Because in the end, that is what is going to separate the quality of your work. So, be careful the things you watch, pay attention to the things you watch, be very deliberate about things you watch. If you're going to learn this thing fully, be very careful about the things you watch. Then another thing would be a guiding principle that I've lived my entire filmmaking journey by. I wrote it down years ago when I was trying to write down for myself a principle that will guide my filmmaking journey. Because every time I try to take a journey, a long-term journey, I try to put an underlying principle for myself, you know. And what it is be precise if you must. Be detailed, that you must. So detail trumps precision. Precision is optional. And by precision, I'm talking, let's say for example, in telling a story. To tell the story exactly as it is optional. But to be detailed in telling the story is not optional. And what do I mean to be detailed in telling the story is not optional? Simple. If I want to tell the story of Inikbi, of Kogi State, that was buried alive, a sacrifice, a princess buried alive, a sacrifice for the land, it is not a must for me to be precise with the story. It's not a must for me to tell the story verbatim. I can twist the story here and there. I can even create an entirely different and abstract story out of nowhere with her character. That precision is not as important as detail. What were Igalas wearing that time? What kind of cinematography am I going to use to tell the story? My choice of colors. Those little details that will help communicate the essence of the story will be more important than the precision of the story. So what am I saying invariably? Focus your attention on detail, especially when you're watching films and you're watching the works of other people to learn. Focus your attention on details. If there are five of you seeing a film, you should be the only one who is able to see certain things that everybody else will not be able to see. Because what you are watching is different from what they are watching. Everybody is watching Mission Impossible, but there's something else you are watching as you are seeing the film. That's how a filmmaker sees a movie. Learn camera angles and camera shot types. What do they mean? What do each of the camera angles and each of the camera shot types mean? What do they translate to? Camera movements as well, what do they mean? So here's the assignment. Next class, all of you will do presentation. Your assignment is this. Write down 5 camera shot types, 5 camera angles, and their meaning. Next class, you're going to present it Then you're going to do a practical. 5 camera shot types and 5 camera angles. Meaning. So you guys are going to do a presentation. So, you are 5. I want to group you. So what you're going to do is 2 groups, you're going to present. So you get your 5 camera shot types, 5 camera angles. You shoot all the 5 camera shot types, 5 camera angles. We're going to use the other hall for class so that you're going to display it on TV as you do your presentation. You can shoot it and decide to add soundtrack, to add emotions or whatnot, but let your camera angle and camera shot type tell me what you are claiming that you can tell me. If you tell me that it's supposed to tell me something, it's telling me another thing, that they will know. So let me see how I'll group you people now. People are 5. So which group? Which group will I give Lumide now? Lumide is... okay. Lumide, Sly, and Favor. You're in one group. The 2 of you are in one group. May God help you. 5 camera shot types, 5 camera angles. Any questions? No question, ba? Thank you, Jesus. You people are beginning to love me these days, bro. That's strange. Okay.